Hello, my name is Shantae Gibbs Rickard, and I am going to summarize Chapter 11 again. Um, the chapter is called Informative Speaking. Um, I learned right much, in this chapter. Um, I learned information is powerful, and to be able to communicate is essential. Everyone who deals with the public should realize being informative is very helpful because when you're informative, that shows that you know what you're talking about, you know what you're trying to say, what it is that you're trying to get across. Um, but when you're not informative, that shows that you're lacking something. You may not even connect with the audience by not being informative. Also, information is knowledge. And that goes back to the saying that I used to hear all the time: knowledge is power. It's gained, through studying, communicating, listening, and many other ways. A lot of people, don't think of communicating as much as they should. You should be very mindful on, what it is that you are communicating because, when you're informative about your within your communicating, you're showing that you know what you're talking about. You know what it is that you're trying to get across. And that just make things a whole lot better and make things, very clear. Um, but I have a question for you. Did you know in early years, if you had knowledge, you ruled the world? That was in the book, chapter 11. It was like preachers and people who were wealthy. Of course, they had access to better education. Being able to read. That goes back to knowledge is power. If you know how to read, you know how to talk and get things across to people that need to be. So that shows that, with knowledge and having, information that, you can get very far with that. Um, the chapter also discussed informative versus persuasive speaking. Informative, of course, like I just got to discussing, is knowing what you're talking about, knowing what you're speaking about, knowing what you're trying to say, just being very informative. Where persuasive is, when like if you're in a debate or any other kind of situation where I'm maybe trying to persuade you guys to go on my side rather than the opponent's side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you facts. I'm going to give you a lot of information where I'm trying to persuade you to lean more towards me than the other person. I'm gonna come out the woodworks with all kinds of things, graphs, just anything to make you, be persuaded on my side. But ain't it funny how informative speaking and persuasive speaking both have something in common? Do you know what that is? Hmm. Information. Yeah, information. With informative speaking, you got to have information. You have to know what you're talking about. And then again, what's persuasive? You have to have information. And then with both, it's good to have, references just in case someone, doesn't believe you on what you're saying or they may want to research it on their own. It's good to have, a bibliography or any other kind of little detailed, script or something that backs you up of what you're saying. So that shows that you're even more informative, you know, um, and you can pass on or relay that to the next person. Um, Informative speeches can range in many areas. Um, when I say that, what I got out of the chapter is they can talk about objects, processes, events, concepts. Um, it is very, very broad. It's a big subject. Informative speeches can be pretty much anything, I would say. Um, but I guess, it is in all how you present it and what information you give, and what you have back in that information to show that it is true. When preparing and develop an information speech to gain your audience attention is just a must. Because sometimes if you're talking and you're not getting their full attention, you might see them sleep, you might see them wandering off, they might get up during your speech. You just got to make it very interesting. You got to make it lively. That is one of my biggest concerns, making something live, just to keep the audience, wanting more, or wanting to know more, or they even maybe even active, like start raising their hands for questions and stuff. So then that'll help you out as well, and it can make things go by and faster. The whole information session, go by a lot faster. Well, that is my chapter 11 summary, and I hope that you guys can use it, and I hope y'all like it. All right, thank you. Bye bye.